The real reason why Emirates is flying the A380 again, and we're talking about November 2021.
Like, subscribe, and share.
The sponsor of today's video is intuitive.me. Personal development, personal growth, business efficiency improvement. More about this at the end of the video. There have been a lot of speculations, a lot of blah blah on why Emirates is flying a 4-engine aircraft that is not as efficient as the new aircraft, that they're unable to fill. So why are they flying this aircraft? And they're not flying 2 or 3 of them, but they're really trying to put the whole fleet back into service, out of long-term storage and short-term storage, back into service. What's the real reason? They're basically wasting money, because on every flight the profit is low, or they're even making losses. The A380 has a high maintenance cost due to its size and the 4 engines compared to the A350-900 and the 787. Both aircraft that Emirates has on order, but they deferred the deliveries to at least 2024 or maybe even 2025. And both Airbus and Boeing are eager to deliver them. The A350 and the 787 are so much more efficient. They're amazing aircraft. They're more silent. They consume less fuel. The maintenance costs are much lower. They're easier to fill because of their size. So what is Emirates waiting for? Well, it's simple. Money. It always has been, and it will be for a long time. Even if they're talking about the environment, that is just PR. It's still about the money, not about the environment. There will be no commercial company actually spending more money because of the environment if they cannot make more money in return, because that is how capitalism works. And all the airlines, including Emirates, are there for one and one reason only: making money. So you may say, why fly the A380 then, and not take these A350s and 787s that both Boeing and Airbus are so keen to deliver? Why not taking them? Well, again, money. Simple fact is, to take delivery of an aircraft, you need to pay cash on delivery. Yes, they paid in advance something for the orders, but the real money is transferred the day of the delivery. And we're talking about a lot of money here. And Emirates has 50 A350-900s on order, and these go for $317.4 million US dollars. Of course, they're not paying this price. Let's say they got 30% discount, so they pay around 200 million per aircraft upon delivery. 200 million. We're talking about 10 to 15 billion for the A350s, and that's with a hefty discount. 5.5 to 8 billion for the Boeing 787s. Like all airlines in the world, Emirates did also ground its aircraft. First in short-term storage, then many also in long-term storage. But now that aviation is picking up, travel is picking up, they need to fly. They need to have aircraft flying their routes. Otherwise, other companies will take these passengers and they will lose their customers, not just short term, but also long term. So they need aircraft to fly. So what do they have? They have the 777s, 300 ERs, and they have the A380s. As they do not have the money at this moment to pay for new aircraft, they cannot take delivery of those new aircraft. They need to have cash flow for that. So the 787s and the A350s, they cannot use them, they cannot take them, they cannot pay for them. So they're stuck with the A380s. And that's why they're doing the best they can with their service to fill them to the max. by delivering excellent service, and you can see the reviews which are still made at this moment, and the current reviews are better than the old ones because they need to encourage people, they need to attract customers so that they choose Emirates over other airlines like Qatar or Etihad or Singapore or Turkish Airlines, which are all airlines that are doing their best to deliver good quality so that they also get the maximum of customers. And Emirates has a big route network, so they need to have as many aircraft as possible in the air flying those routes. And what do they have? 777s and A380s. So what we're going to see is 777 and A380s. On top of this, even if they would get a cash injection from the governments, that doesn't mean they can just start flying A350s and 787s because their crew needs to be retrained. You remember how 346 people died because Boeing did their best to avoid that pilots had to spend just a few hours in a simulator to make the transit from a 737 next gen to the 737 MAX? Having your flight crew, your pilots, make the transition from a 777 to a 787 or from a A380 to a A350, it's going to take more than just a few hours in the flight simulator. We're talking about tens of hours. We're talking about full training. This means a lot of time. This means they will not be available now. And you do not just need 2 pilots for one of the aircraft, you need at least 10 per aircraft. Because these aircraft are constantly in the air, which means you need fresh pilots every 8 or 10 hours to take seat at the helm. So even if they would have the money for the new aircraft, they would still need the time to train all these pilots and the cabin crew and the maintenance team and have maintenance contracts at all their destinations for those new aircraft. That's a big infrastructural change. Oh, of course, they also need all the spare parts and stuff like that, but just assuming they have plenty of money coming in from the moon, let's say, they would still need to organize all of that and get everyone in line. Even because the aircraft are different, the flight durations may vary. They will need to adapt their schedules here and there. So there's a lot of work involved, aside from just paying the goddamn money and start flying new aircraft. It's not as simple as that. So this is why, for the time being, Emirates is making the best of what they have, which is delivering the highest possible quality of service that they can. And with the A380, they have the space and the facilities to do that. That's why they will fly as many of them as they can, just to get the people to say, oh, I'll choose Emirates because they're still flying the A380, which has more space, even in economy class, which is more silent, which has better this, which has better that. Or because it's so cool to fly that aircraft, because there's almost nobody left who's flying it. So for the foreseeable future, we will see plenty of A380s, around 100, maybe 115, flying around, landing in airports close to you maybe, so you'll be able to spot them. And that's a delight for all those who love the A380, those who like to watch them, but also those who choose to fly them. Because last year, it really looked like we would never see them fly again. And yes, Emirates may phase them out sooner than expected. But if you look at the number of orders that they have for the A350s and the 787s, they do not cover by far the number of A380s. Even if you add the 777Xs, then they still have the 777s that need to be replaced as well. So it will take another 5 to 10 years before we'll have skies without A380s. I hope this gave you some insights and some answers to some questions that you had. See you in the next video, but before that, a little bit more about today's sponsor. So, the sponsor of today's video, Intuitive.me. You must say, hey, Intuitive. Yes, you got it. That's my main job. These videos that I'm recording here on Aviation, They're just for fun. They're my hobby. They're my passion. That's why I don't do it so often. I don't do it as regularly as other channels do because it's not my job. I don't make money from it, at least not yet. I do it for fun because I love aviation. And that's what intuitive.me is about. It's about discovering what you really love to do and start doing it. It's about discovering who you are on the inside, finding your inner peace, dealing with those triggers, those things that really piss you off, fuck you off when they happen and you lose control over yourself. It's dealing with things that have been there for a long time, like blockages and trauma. It's finding your ideal partner, finally finding your ideal partner. It's changing things in your life that you have no clue how to change, but you really want them to change. And as I always say, asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength and a sign of true smartness. Because the real smart people and the real successful people, they have coaches, they have mentors, yes, plural. They often have more than one. So click the link in the description and have a look. If you've watched this far, then you probably already resonate with me, so maybe it can help you. Click the link in the description.